Well, the Jets lose again, right? They had a chance. They had a good first half, but not a good second half, and we're going to break it all down in this video. The Jets are unable to pull off the upset against a red-hot Baltimore Ravens team. Defense looked great until they didn't. Offense looked solid until they didn't. So we're going to break it down in the video. Make sure you guys comment your thoughts right now of your biggest takeaways of the Jets losing to the Baltimore Ravens. No, losing does not feel good to me personally still, even though there's no even thought to be in the playoffs or anything like that. And some people always wonder, Richie, why do you still get pissed off and upset when the Jets lose, even though the season's pretty much a wash, right? I don't know how to answer that other than just being completely honest with you guys that I don't know. I'm just a diehard Jets fan, and I want to watch my team win. I want to see them go out there and execute, and that flavor of winning, the taste of victory, it's very rare for us Jets fans. So when we don't get it, I'm not happy. So we're going to break it all down in the video right here. If you guys are not aware, Sleeper is a proud sponsor of the channel. Don't forget to check them out. Using the code JETS gives you a 100% deposit match up to $100. So I want to give a big shout out to Sleeper if you guys want to take advantage of their discount of, well, it's not even a discount. You get free money for $20 and 100% deposit match up to $100. Use the code JETS. Link in the description. Terms and conditions apply, folks. You can use that for Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football, whatever you want. But let's get into this game right away. Now, it's a interesting way to break it down because I think there's a handful of reasons why the Jets lost the game. And it's weird because the Jets had the lead at halftime. And the Jets make a decision at quarterback. Justin Fields, he wins 2 games in a row, and then he loses to the Patriots. He's out of here. Tyrod is now the new starter, and a lot of people wondering, is that the right decision? Should the Jets actually keep Justin Fields at quarterback? Should they go to Tyrod? Well, they go to Tyrod, and, you know, in this game, Tyrod Taylor, he gave me exactly what I expected from Tyrod Taylor. He's not a great quarterback. He's not an awful quarterback. He's just a meh. He's a pure backup quarterback, pure veteran, exactly what you'd expect from Tyrod. He pushes the ball down the field. He had some great plays of extending the plays, hitting A.D. Mitchell down the field, giving John Mechie III an opportunity to go out there and make some really big-time plays. But at the end of the day, we all understand the future of this Jets quarterback position is not on the roster right now, or maybe it is. Brady Cook season coming soon. We'll talk about that later on in the week, I'm sure. But, you know, my evaluation of Tyrod is exactly what I expected him to do. He's not a great quarterback. He's not someone that will be the reason why the Jets win or the reason why the Jets lose. But I think that if you look at it from a two-half standpoint, starting off with the first half, the first quarter, the Jets defense was the story, man. They were out there making plays, stopping the Ravens on third down. The defense was really good to start off this game, man. It really felt like the defense lit a fire on this team, and you're like, okay, now you're seeing adjustments. You're seeing A.Z. Thomas back in the fold making some plays, even though he had, you know, a penalty call on him, which was bogus. Should have been a face mask on D-Hop, in my opinion. You're seeing Jawan Briggs get a sack. You know, Quincy Williams and Harrison Phillips stuffing the run against Derrick Henry. You know, the defense was playing really good, and the Jets' offense goes down the field. They score 7 points. Shout out to John Mechie III getting a second touchdown as a member of the New York Jets. That's a big positive, man, is John Mechie III. We'll talk about that in another video, but it seems like we got something in the wide receiver from the Philadelphia Eagles that we got in the Michael Carter, the second trade. Very good sign there from this offense. But the Jets have a 7-3 lead at the half, and a lot of good things were going on in the first half. But the big problem with the offense, too, was the run game. The offensive line was brutal in this game, in my opinion. The run game was non-existent. Breece Hall averaged like 2.8 yards per carry. I like that they got him involved through the air in the second half, but we all know what happened at the end. But let's get into really why the Jets lost the game. And it really starts with that penalty that Isaiah Oliver had on 3rd and 15 to start off the third quarter. The Jets are going into halftime with momentum, 7-3 score. You have a lead. The Ravens get the ball to start off the third quarter, and then right there, you're like, all right, can this defense keep up the momentum? First down, they have a really good play on defense. Second down, there's like a penalty that happens, whatever, and I think the sack happens then. And then it's 3rd and 15. 3rd and 15. The Jets have a big chance to get a 3 and out, and then all of a sudden, the Jets get the ball with a 7-3 lead to start off the second half with a chance to go up 2 scores or maybe extend the lead with a field goal. But what happens? Isaiah Oliver gets called for the pass interference, and yes, that was pass interference. It's not like they got screwed over by the refs or anything like that, but you can't have that critical penalty in that moment because instead of forcing a punt, they get the first down, and then the Ravens take advantage, and they march down the field, and they score a touchdown And now it's 10-7 Ravens. And then the next possession is another reason why the Jets lost this game, was the Jets going for it on fourth down. No. You don't do that there. You don't do that there, Aaron Glenn. I like the idea of being aggressive, but it was just not executed properly, in my opinion. The Jets get the ball. They're feeling a little pressure, like the momentum's on the Ravens side, and then they decided to just give them the momentum on a silver platter. Here you go, Ravens. Here's the momentum that you want. So on 3rd and 4, the Jets decide to hand the ball off to Isaiah Davis. Oh, and by the way, in the first half, I forgot to mention this, they had a sequence where it was a great play. The first time we saw A.D. Mitchell get a catch in this game, first down over the middle on 3rd down. You're like, yeah, A.D. Mitchell, let's go. Great route, great throw. We're moving the ball. Now we're in Ravens territory. And then the next 3 calls were a handoff to Isaiah Davis out of the shotgun. 2nd down, handoff to Isaiah Davis on 2nd down. And then what happens on 3rd down? 3rd and 5? They give the ball to Isaiah Davis up the middle. What are we doing? Absolute joke. I mean, what are you doing, Tanner Engström? And then in the second half, on 3rd and 4, the Jets hand the ball off to Isaiah Davis on 3rd and 4, up the middle. And then what do? On 4th and 2, they go for it. If the idea was to set up a more manageable 4th down, just go for the first down on 3rd down. On 3rd and 4, don't hand the ball off. Throw the ball to Mechie, to Mason Taylor, to Breece Hall out of the backfield, to A.D. Mitchell. Like, throw there. Don't throw the ball on 4th and 2, which ends up being an incomplete pass. So that was a completely mismanaged by the coaching staff, in my opinion, Aaron Glenn and Tanner Engström. That is really bad. And then you give the Ravens the ball now because of the turnover on downs with fantastic field position. And then on this possession, for the defense, another critical penalty. Instead of holding them to 3 points to give them a touchdown, on 3rd down, the Jets give Lamar Jackson and the Ravens just a first down to set up 1st and goal. And that was on Tony Adams, the safety. It was 3rd down. The Jets had a really good play, the play prior on 2nd down where the pass rush got home. Jamian Sherwood almost sacked him. Should have sacked him, honestly. But Lamar Jackson breaks the tackle, throws it out of bounds. And on 3rd down, he throws it way over the top of Zay Flowers. It would have been 4th down, and they would have settled for 3 points. But instead, Tony Adams, for some reason, is just not disciplined and just tugs Zay Flowers to the floor. What are you doing? Why are you throwing him to the floor there, bro? And then you give him a first down, and then the Ravens end up punching it in. They go for it, actually. The Jets had a good 1st and goal. Brownlee with the stuff. 2nd and goal, Brownlee with another stuff. 3rd and goal, got another stop. And then 4th and goal at the 1-yard line, the Ravens go for it, and the defensive line gets absolutely bullied, just polarized. I mean, Clemens gets beat off the line. Jermaine Johnson, Quincy Williams takes the wrong route, and then Derrick Henry could have walked in, which basically he did, and then they score 14 unanswered points. This Jets football team right now, right, they're learning their ways. And right there, everything we just broke down is why the Jets are a bad football team, right? It doesn't really matter the personnel. Like, if they have 2 critical penalties on 3rd down, and they go for it on 4th down way too early in the 3rd quarter, like, you're basically gifting the game away, right? Really frustrating stuff. But then all of a sudden, you look up and then, like, the game isn't over, right? The Jets still fight. They're still keeping it close. John Mechie keeps picking up plays on 3rd down. Tyrod's pushing the ball down the field. The defense starts getting a little bit more opportunistic, making some plays. And then the Jets get into the 4th quarter, and the defense gets a stop, right? The Jets are down by 10 points. The score is, 20-10, I believe, because they got a field goal because they were moving the ball. They got 3 points on the board. There was one really great play that I did want to mention that I did like. It was a highlight-level play. Tyrod Taylor on 3rd down, I believe, was avoiding the pressure, somehow escapes, throws on the run to A.D. Mitchell. A.D. Mitchell had a really nice catch and run down the left sideline. 2 catches for A.D. Mitchell, and the 2 catches are really good, big ones. So positive sign for A.D. Mitchell, still getting his feet wet here with the New York Jets, but I really do like what I'm seeing from him and John Mechie in particular. And then that play eventually set up the Jets, I believe, for 3 points, which made it a 10-point game. And then the defense gets a stop, and then the Jets get the ball to start off the 4th quarter, and it's the Breece Hall time. Breece Hall is known to go crazy in the 4th quarter for this Jets football team. He always does. Remember, against the Bengals, he had 3 touchdowns and led the Jets to go out there win the game. You know, even against the Browns, he had that game-winning touchdown in the 4th quarter. So this was Breece Hall's time. He had that crazy highlight-level play. It was a check down, spin move, goes across the field, picks up so many yards, gets the Jets all the way into the red zone, and then he gets another play called for him, a screen pass, picks up the first down, and then you're like, this is Breece's chance, baby, let's go. And by the way, right now, it's a 10-point game with 8 minutes left. If the Jets score a touchdown here, you're talking about a 3-point game, and then the Jets defense just needs to get a stop, and then the Jets offense has a chance to either tie the game or take the lead. So it's not like the game was out of reach right here, but Breece Hall, man, gives the ball away. Now, I'm not going to say he gave the ball away. The Ravens freaking took that ball from him, which is really frustrating to watch a defense like the Ravens be so opportunistic and rip the ball away, because the Jets still do not know how to turn the ball over, by the way. Another game without a turnover forced on defense, and another game without getting an interception. NFL history continues to be made here with the Jets. They continue to make new ways to find to be miserable, us Jets fans. No interceptions, no turnovers, but whatever. Breece Hall, he tries to get a little too cute. Instead of going down after a big run, by the way, it was a handoff to him. He picks up a first down. It's instead of it being first and goal inside the 5-yard line, it's a turnover. I mean, right there, the game is over, right? I mean, you're talking about a sequence of Breece potentially getting a touchdown, eventually making the score 20-17. Instead, it's a turnover on downs. The Ravens get the ball, and then right there was the end. I mean, the rest of the game was just, it didn't really matter because you can't bounce back from that. Breece Hall was so upset with himself on the sideline. I feel bad for him just because it's like going all the way down the field, feeling like the man, just to cough the ball up. You know that he's pissed off. You know that he's pissed off at himself, which he should be. I mean, that's unacceptable. Like, you cannot give the ball away. I don't know what the heck is going on with this Jets team, but they love to give the ball away at the goal line. Remember, Braylon Allen did it on Monday Night Football against the Miami Dolphins, and it's just really, really frustrating to see the team cough the ball up like that. So the Jets, they beat themselves today, man, because in my opinion, the Ravens did not look great. They held Derrick Henry in check. They held Lamar Jackson, the 2-time MVP, in check. They didn't really do much. The Ravens didn't do much, but the Jets beat themselves. And that's the situation that we're in right now as a Jets fan base is, Aaron Glenn, he has his team bought into what he's preaching. They're fighting. You see the hustle. You're seeing Jawan Briggs get a sack, which is a great player on this team. The defense, by the way, I want to give them some flowers here because, Isaiah Oliver's not going to be here next year. Tony Adams is not going to be starting as safety. Like, the two players that made big-time mistakes, they're not part of the future. It's frustrating that they did that. But, there's guys in this defense that's making plays. Jawan Briggs, dog. Harrison Phillips making plays on defense, dog. A.Z. Thomas showing some signs of progression, beast, all right? Brownlee having some run stuffs. There's some pieces on this defense to be excited about, and it's frustrating that in a game where the Jets played okay, they beat themselves. You can't go out there and shoot yourselves in the foot and expect to win. The Ravens did not have any mistakes. The Ravens did not make a lot of plays either, right? They just were not really out there playing their great level of football, but the Jets made one too many mistakes. The 2 defensive penalties, the going for it on 4th down, and the fumble from Breece Hall. That's 4 mistakes that's going to compound and result in a loss, folks. So that's really what it comes down to. And, I don't think the Jets would have won if Fields was at quarterback either. And I know some people be like, oh, see? Why did you go to Tyrod? Tyrod sucks. You shouldn't have benched Fields. No, I still like that the Jets are going to Tyrod because the positive from this game is seeing John Mechie III show us what he's capable of when you get him the opportunity with the ball in his hands. And I know he had a good game last week with 3 catches, 45 yards, and a touchdown, but he was able to replicate that again. And I love John Mechie III, man. I think that we may have something in him and A.D. Mitchell. And then when Garrett Wilson gets healthy, you're like, okay, wait, the Jets got some receivers now. Because remember, going into the season, the Jets have a huge weakness at wide receiver next to Garrett Wilson. And now it's like, wait, do we have a strength? Do we have now 3 receivers to be excited about for the future? They're young and exciting. Garrett Wilson, proven #1 receiver. John Mechie, trying to become that elite slot receiver. Now, I know I'm not going to say elite here now, but could he be a productive #3 receiver? Can A.D. Mitchell prove to be a guy? And then you get another receiver in the offseason, and then you go into next year with Garrett Wilson, John Mechie, A.D. Mitchell, draft a receiver, whether it's in the 1st or 2nd round, who knows? And now we got a real receiving room to be excited about. So that's a promising sign here for the future. And let me just finish off the video with this. We all understand the perception of the Jets, and if you're a Jets fan watching these games, the reality is we're in evaluation mode. Who are we evaluating on the roster to build around, to be excited about? Who are the guys we want to get rid of? And I think that we saw a lot of things today that answers a lot of questions that we may have. So let me know your thoughts in the comments, and comment down below a plane emoji if you stayed all the way until the end of the video. This is my post-game recap. I'm out of here, folks. Hit the like button as well. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Love you guys as always. Let's go Jets. Peace.